Now, I got to labor through this one like Corey Kluber on a bad day because I wanted to make an argument against Aaron Judge. I'm like, nope, can't make an argument against Aaron Judge. You guys called me out on revisionist history, even though I stand by that. That was not revisionist. The third thing is, though, yeah, we have to tell you this. I have to tell you this. I'm telling you right now. One, he is a loyal guy. He's not going to rip on Kevin Stefanski. That wasn't ripping on Kevin Stefanski, by the way. I think that was something else. And he is not going to just take that job and usurp Kevin Stefanski. The other part of it is, if you guys think this is dysfunctional, and you do, he got a front row seat to it. In fact, he was tasked with helping to save the dysfunction of last year.
Come coach this.
He had to go from being a consultant.
Guys, you only wanted me in here like twice a week and sit in the press box and enjoy cocktails during the games.
Oh, he's not going to be at the home games.
Now I'm coaching the offensive line.
He's not going to be in the road games. Then he's at the road games. So he's not going to be in the box. He's not going to be in the coach's meeting. He ended up in like all of it.
Mike's probably like, how much are you paying me?
Your offensive line coaching situation was terrible. So he got to see all of it. And he saw a situation where your quarterback is who? Well, at that time, you got nobody in Deshaun Watson. No. The other team has Drake May. He wasn't coming here. He wasn't staying here.
That's it for about last night.
Coming up next, I'm going to tell you why last night was a good thing for the Cavaliers, and Donovan Mitchell agrees with me. Also, later on, can I convince you of something?
Yeah.
The Patriot Way is back, and they're the blueprint. Ken Carman, Tone Master General on the Fan. Window Nation, I got a blueprint for you.
go.
Kenny, what are your overall takeaways from this one?
We didn't have it. We didn't have it. They were great. They kind of flew by us. Quicker to every loose ball. They were racing by us in transition, beat us to every rebound. I'm exaggerating, of course, but it was like their energy level was here and we were down here. And I wish we were mentally stronger. Sometimes you gotta fight through the schedule, fatigue, all that. Obviously, our main guys, they just didn't have the juice tonight.
Kenny Atkinson on the Cavs effort.
No juice.
They won against Miami. Then you lost against Toronto and didn't even try.
What about Naquan Tomlin, 8 of 10?
Then Evan Mobley.
Oof.
You said you would have benched him. I think a lot of people agree with you.
They got up another 41 threes. That's actually 5 below their season average this year. They connected on 24% of them. Oof.
Is that enough slide whistle for you, Owen?
Yeah, I was good about 3 whistles.
Okay, I'll see you in hell. So that was Kenny Atkinson. Kenny Atkinson was upset. I think a lot of fans were upset. I got upset during the game. I got upset right after the game. So I kind of went to bed mad. I thought that the effort was terrible. I thought that the defense was atrocious. The defense has been bad all year. The defense has been bad all season long so far. It's only
just
been 13
nowhere
games.
Near compared to what we had seen from Bickerstaff years, even up until last year.
And I know a lot of people say, well, it's effort. Yeah, I know the defense is effort. A lot of defense is effort. But, man, it's just like, even watching the tape before these games against some of these teams, is it maybe it's just too early? Some of the things that they do, it's just like, man, you didn't even prepare for it. It seems on the defensive end. And I don't want to say that a Kenny Atkinson team seems ill-prepared. I think that that's probably unfair to Kenny Atkinson, especially considering last year. So I think that he's fit to be tied a little bit over it. To see Evan Mobley, I mean, that's unacceptable. That yesterday, to struggle that much is unacceptable. I was upset. Then I woke up this morning, and Donovan Mitchell had spoken post-game. Now here is what Donovan Mitchell said.
This regular season, everything started off perfectly. This has been an up and down start to the season. What can you learn from this and build off from this experience?
This is, I hate to sound like a sicko, but this is great, to be honest, because last year you started 15-0, blowing teams out. You're never really mentally tested, right? You know what I mean? And I think now we've had, 8-5? In those 13 games, we've had 13 different scenarios, right? We've had blowouts. We've had come from behind wins. We've had given up a lead and still won. We've had, tonight, you know what I mean? There's different things, and you're learning so much. And on top of that, our young guys, and I want to take away from your question 1 second, but our young guys have been phenomenal. That's the thing that's been consistent the entire year. Naquan Tomlin, Craig Porter, Tyrese Proctor, Jalen Tyson have been phenomenal. I don't think you see that if we go 15-0, right? I don't think you see that. So when we come to the playoffs, they know the moments. We don't get that if we just go perfect. You go through all these things, and there were times in Utah we were 19-30 and then made the playoffs, right? So the sky's not falling. These are great tests for us and great battles, and we're not worried as a group. We have things to fix. Don't get it twisted, but this is a good place and a good thing for us to learn.
Let me tell you this. It made me feel a whole lot better. Cavs Update brought to you by Surfside. Fine folks at Surfside ask you to please drink responsibly. It did make me feel a lot better about it. It calmed me down a little bit. Donovan has a way, because he is the supreme leader of the Cleveland Cavaliers, Donovan has a way to kind of calm people down. And it calmed me down because we're 13 games in, and if Donovan says, hey, I'm not saying he's saying it's all right, but it makes me feel like, okay, it's all right, it's going to work out, because I think he's right. Toughness to me isn't just not getting shoved around in the paint. Toughness to me isn't just, Evan Mobley having to take more threes, having to assert his dominance. Toughness to me is being able to answer the bell when your depth is tested, when you do have to battle. And I know that we made fun of the term adversity. That's what toughness is. So when you have a guy who I don't think anybody questions his toughness in Donovan Mitchell, I think it makes me feel a little bit more secure about the Cavs. You do not agree. You don't think that is anything to be secure about, and you would. It's not that you're going to go after Donovan Mitchell, but you think that no, I should be holding them to the fire a little bit better.
Well, put it this way: obviously, I know if they get a healthy Darius back, and we got good news on the injury front yesterday because they're saying that contusion is just day to day, even though it's on the same toe that caused him a lot of problems last year. That's kind of a wait and see. Let's see how he manages that, because he was unable to manage that and still play really effectively last year when that injury went down. That's going to be a big, significant key for this team this year, because for anybody who doesn't think Darius is a big-time part of everything they do on offense, then they just don't understand what the Cavs are trying to do, even though he's had his issues in the playoffs either way. But we know where the ceiling is, especially in the regular season for this offense. They're not going to get remotely close to there without Darius. Now, I didn't think they would fall this short because, look, they have put in a bunch of different lineups, and so I think that's where Donovan is coming from. I think Donovan understands and probably talked to Coach about it before the year. Like, we're going to try a lot of different things. We are going to experiment more than ever before, because last year we won a bunch of games. We weren't ready for a specific style come playoff time. And by the time we even managed to even stop spinning our head and understanding what we were up against, series was over. We were eliminated. And it was done. And so all those wins that we had in the regular season, they didn't mean anything because we didn't work to the playoffs. So this year, I truly do believe, and it's tough without Darius, but they are working towards being able to have more flexibility come playoff time. That's why you're seeing so many young guys play, guys that are even like Jalen Tyson. They didn't have that kind of length and defensive grittiness. Okoro is a good defensive player, but look at how well-rounded Jalen Tyson is and the types of balls that that Okoro was not getting.
No, Jalen Tyson is already better. Jalen Tyson is already a better fit for this basketball team.
Yeah,
so probably looks like he's going to be a better pro.
So you see why they're doing it. That I will never, if they're losing games because of that, fine, whatever. It's not going to be as cohesive. They were a juggernaut last year. Everybody knew where everybody was going to be on the floor at all times, and they treated the regular season like a big deal, and they won a bunch of games, and they should be credited for that. It shouldn't be all for naught because they lost. I don't want to ever chide teams for trying hard in the regular season, but this year it wasn't going to be about that. So again, I understand where he's coming from. With that said, after Donovan sat out that game, after Evan sat out that game in Miami, the second game in Miami, it's kind of ridiculous that they came out with that effort yesterday, but especially Evan.
Well, it's really bad, and it's demoralizing because, Evan's got to be better, and I've made a lot of arguments for Evan. And there's a lot of people who are already taking victory laps on me about Evan Mobley. It bothers me. And I've had this history talking about Evan where there's definitely people who have been detractors. I've been a defender, and I've been angry at Evan because I've been so defensive of him. And then when you think that there's a corner to turn, he goes out, takes 7 shots, scores 7 points, and looks ineffectual against the Toronto Raptors. I mean, they're getting killed on the board. They're getting killed on the hustle stuff. I mentioned the Dean Wade play earlier. I mean, not to just sit there and pick on Dean Wade for crying out loud, but Judas Priest, you're just standing there like it's a shoot-around after you attempt a 3 and you're trying to cut this thing back within a 2-possession game. Like, that stuff is, I'm sorry, flat out, I'm not sorry. It's unacceptable. It's absolutely unacceptable. And I'm not making an exception for last night saying that that's fine, but when Donovan does say that, I do think he's thinking more big picture. Like, last night's effort doesn't end the entire thought of the Cleveland Cavaliers. But what it does, I think, is it has to turn into a lesson for this team that you're going to have to get to a different level. Because frankly, let's be serious. How often are we going to be able to count on Darius is a fine player, and I think he does try hard. But how often am I going to be able to count for his physical presence on the floor for the rest of this year, the rest of this season? I think that now we have to question how much he's going to be able to play for the rest of the year.
Man, I hope that's not the case.
Because what I'm afraid of what's going to happen, it's a day-by-day thing, right? Well, already he was limping off the floor, and already he was trying to be out there on the floor. So I am afraid a guy like Darius, who does take this stuff personally, took it personally last year, took it personally the year before, got very upset about it the year before with people calling him out for being soft, which I don't think he's soft, for people calling him out to be overrated. I think at times I have overrated him a little bit, fair, but the stuff about being soft and about being injury-prone and about being brittle, some of that's just true. You're 6'2", you're not the thickest guy out there. We're just going to have to deal with some of that. That's why Evan has to be tougher. That's why Jared Allen has to follow up with a better effort after 30-10 the night before against the Miami Heat. I'm sorry, it's time for others to lead. Now I'm getting mad, and I'm happy with what Donovan said, because those guys are going to have to deal with it better in the later part of the season, because I think that Darius, I think that he might have a tendency to rush it.
Well,
I think he tried to come back out of the playoffs.
He should not have been criticized for trying to limp through that with a special shoe, falling down, having trouble starting and stopping.
You're right.
Like the fact that he got blamed for that last year was ridiculous.
On national television, what did Stephen A. Smith say about him?
They just call him soft?
He called him soft and said all types of other things. You got Stephen A. Smith out there on national TV calling you out. Of course you're going to take that personally if you're Darius Garland. I mean, you don't get many chances at this with this group. So I have a fear that you will go out and try to hurry up through it, hurry back through the rehab. I don't think the doctors cleared him. The doctors cleared him for full contact. But now you have a tendency, and he's done it before, to hurry himself back through injury, and then you have a tendency, because you're favoring something, to even hurt something else. And so these guys are going to have to answer the bell, and I think Donovan knows that. So I can take last night for what it is. I don't like them just basically rolling out the basketballs and going and getting throttled in the paint and getting throttled on hustle and looking terrible defensively.
Not by that
Now,
team.
that's been a team that started hot, and we've been a bad team before that started hot too. Fine. I agree with you about that, but damn it, that is flatly unacceptable, and I think Donovan knows that. But also, hey, look at where some of the guys have butted here recently. I mean, you mentioned it. Jalen Tyson already looks like he could be a better pro than Isaac Okoro ever was, and people wanted to give him money. 216-474-0092. Coming up at 9 o'clock, Nathan Zegura going to join us. How on earth can we get Dylan Gabriel going? Up next, did you hear about this rumor? I can't tell you about this rumor because there's millions of rumors, and I didn't even prepare you for the rumor I was going to say.
Is it about another short quarterback?
There's a rumor about another quarterback who is not that very tall, and maybe Daryl can talk me into him because I'd rather just play with 10 than this guy. I think I'd rather have Dylan Gabriel, and I'll explain it to Daryl when he joins us in 5 on The Fan.
XTEND, AV.com.
at third base for the second straight year. Get all the latest Browns content filtered right to your phone during the regular season by following the Browns playlist and 92.3 The Fan on the Odyssey app. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
I want an explanation from this social media post you just made. Sorry for bumping the mic. Yeah, explain this before we bring Daryl on.
Yeah, I just tweeted career record. Bernie Kosar, 53, 54, and 1 with 5-5 in the playoffs.
Right.
And again, our prayers are with Bernie, who is going through a lot right now medically, and he's been posting on social media, and it's great to see that people are connecting with him from all over the world. Then I also added Baker Mayfield, 56 and 56, 2-3 in the playoffs. And then I added thoughts, ? Because I had a lot of thoughts on that.
Yeah,
and I wondered
what's
if you
your
had
thoughts
a lot
on
of
that? Why do I have thoughts on that?
First
Why
of
am I
all,
comparing both quarterbacks? What's the point of that?
I cannot believe Baker Mayfield has already started more career games than Bernie Kosar. That is crazy to me, considering Baker's got another now based on how he's playing this year. I mean, can Baker not play another 6 years? 7 years? Like, why not? Is that too many? Owen looked like he...
No, I think that's right. I'm looking something up. I want to get you.
And Bernie, his playoff record... Now, the wild card was different back then. So would Bernie have more playoff games and opportunities now that more teams get in? Because we've added 2 wild cards, I think, in the last 20 years.
I just wanted to know what made you think of them.
And there's more divisions.
There wasn't years that he just barely missed it, right?
I'd have to go back and look.
I just wanted to know what made you think of them.
That the numbers are so similar, they're all in the 50s in wins and losses. And they've already played the same amount of games. And Bernie's not going to play any more games, so his number stops. Baker will continue going on. What do you think about that?
I don't understand why you thought of it. I don't. Daryl Ryder, brought to you by Shive and
I hate to
Jewelers.
sound like a sicko, but this is great.
Cleveland's premier jewelry store.
Baker has
Daryl.
already won more. They're actually tied in total wins if you add the playoffs. Baker and Bernie have the same amount of wins in their careers. Thoughts?
What does this mean? Why is he doing this?
Go ahead, dude.
Ken, you're stuck with him 4 hours a day.
Well,
not me,
I don't understand the point of any of it. And then he's like,
I don't either.
I just can't believe. I go, can't believe what?
They're
What is
playing
there to
more games. They play more games today than they did back in Bernie's era.
I just don't understand what he's trying to get to. I don't. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. They play more games. Yeah, they play more games. I don't. It's still, what is the correlation?
Well, it's just that Bernie is an all-time legend in this town, and it shocks me that Baker has already won the same amount of games.
Oh, well. I mean, Baker's been in the league since 2018.
Well, one guy played in 2 AFC championship games.
Yep.
Well, three. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 3. Judas Priest. He took a knee in the Super Bowl.
And an NFC championship game.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, good point.
Oh, that's the worst thing about America's team. They completely gloss over Bernie's role.
Yeah.
Oh, Troy Aikman just got a concussion. You didn't know what was going on. You don't know. You can't give 3 minutes to the guy who had to fill in for him. Very convenient, Jer. All right, Daryl Ryder, brought to you by Shive and Jewelers. All right, you want to start off with a rumor here, Daryl?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Lima told me before the show, according to Jeremy Fowler, the Browns could be interested in Kyler Murray.
Okay.
Yeah, it says multiple teams will likely have quarterback openings, including the Jets and the Browns.
Well, Daryl, that means it's open, but it doesn't mean do we have interest in it? Because that's a different answer. I would rather Daryl. I'd rather play with 10. I'd rather play with Dylan Gabriel. I'm not. I'm done with this. I want Dylan Gabriel to take a seat and get a rest. I'm not doing the Kyler Murray thing. No, Lord, no. I'll see you in hell.
Yeah. I'm kind of with you there, Ken. But at the same time, look at all the reclamation projects around the NFL, right?
Yeah.
And I have a feeling that, at least right now, based on what a lot of the analysts are saying about the upcoming draft class, it's not nearly as hot as we thought it was for 26 for quarterbacks. And now they're saying 2027 is going to be that year. And so you almost feel like, based on the current situation the Browns are stuck with the 2 rookies, that maybe another reclamation project might be the best route for 2026. But I'm kind of with you. They already have an undersized quarterback on the roster that can't really do anything with the football. Do they really need another? And do they really need to pay that guy premium dollars too? Right?
I think also
he's not on a rookie contract.
Those other reclamation projects, I think they fit a certain scheme there. I mean, Gino can drop back, let it fly. Now I know Gino's kind of at the end of the line here with his career, but
right.
I'm looking at a guy who, again, was maligned in New York, had a great revitalization in Seattle, and he's the first example, but he's not the latest. Sam Darnold's killing it.
Yep.
Mac Jones has done a fantastic job. Baker's done a fantastic job. These guys are more, hey, I'm more cerebral. Let it step back. Let's go ahead and throw it. Kyler Murray, I'm not doing video games conversations here. We're not doing this. I'll start at the draft, or I'll go get another reclamation project if I wanted to do something like that. Daryl Riders brought to you by Scheib & Jewelers. So I'm glad we're on the same page about that. Now our quarterback right now is Dylan Gabriel. I'm getting to the point where I actually feel bad for him.
Me too.
Because I've had people who go, well, you guys are ripping on Dylan Gabriel so much. I go, well, he's the quarterback of the Browns. I can't help it. But at the same time, I think he's out there way sooner than he should be. I think he's out there now longer than he should be. And I made the mention last night on 8. I said, in a situation, if you have troubled youths, how often do we blame the parents? Well, in Dylan's case, I got to blame the parents. I got to blame the Browns. I mean, this is a total mess, and you're not even giving him a chance to be successful. And that I'm going to say the same thing. I hate to say it for Shedeur Sanders by the end of this year.
Yeah, well, because it's not going to get better with Shedeur. As much as we want to talk ourselves into believing that
he will have to have a Herculean effort to make this better.
Right, agreed, and especially with this, they didn't help Dylan in a variety of ways. One, the supporting cast is not very good, right? And then 2, putting him out there before he's ready, just because he can draw things up on the whiteboard, or you can sit in front of a screen there and you can break down the film and whatever. Like, it's clear that he can see it on film in the film room. He can't see it when he's on the field. Like, that has been crystallized in these 5 starts for him, and it's part of the reason why he struggled so much. It's part of the reason why I think, too, everyone's taking up for him, not just players, but the Tommy Reese and Kevin Stefanski, right? They put the kid in a bad spot. They basically set him up to fail. And this is a guy that was already coming into the league with enough challenges. And obviously I'm talking about the physical attributes, right? He is a shorter quarterback. He's sub 6 feet tall. I don't care what they list him in the media guide as. He's below 6 feet tall. It's tough enough in the NFL to be successful when you're, that height. I did find what Tommy Reese said yesterday. He mentioned that Brock Purdy, I guess, was on a podcast or has a podcast and was talking about how a lot of times quarterbacks are throwing it and they really don't, they're not seeing much of anything. They're just trusting that their receivers are going to be in a certain spot at a certain time. And so to sit there and just say, well, it's a height issue for Dylan Gabriel and that's why he can't see what's going on. I think that was Tommy Reese's way of trying to tamp down that narrative, even though I do feel like that is a real thing, right? You saw them roll him outside the pocket multiple times against the Jets. Some of it was by design, some of it was a result of pressure, but that's what they have to do to give him, I think, better vision down the field to see what's going on, because when you're in that kind of traffic, it's understandable. When you're below 6 feet tall as a quarterback in the NFL, it's hard to see between the weeds. So they put him in a tough spot. He's failing miserably as a result of that, and I 100% agree with you, Ken. I've said it in some way, shape, or form as well. I don't blame him. I blame the people that hired him, and I blame the people that put him in a position to fail.
Daryl Ryder brought to you by Scheib & Jewelers. Daryl, the Browns have been blown out, by my words, 4 times this year out of their 7 losses. I don't think I've seen them quit, though. But after a loss to the Jets, I worry that Sunday could be that day where we start to see some jogging and some, oh boy. Do you believe that Sunday could end up being maybe Kevin's Waterloo if they start to jog around and show that they're, they don't care?
Yeah, I don't know that we're going to see that on Sunday, to be perfectly honest with you, just judging by some of the things I've heard this week. Now, I do feel like there is going to come a point in the season where it's going to be, okay, what are we doing? Like, why are we wasting our time for 3 hours, even though we're paying billions of dollars to do this? But really, what are we doing out here? I don't think that's going to be Sunday, though. They did not play all that poorly. I realized it was 41-17, 24, ended up being a 24-point spread. Game got out of hand there in the fourth quarter. They held Derrick Henry to 23 yards rushing, right? That's extremely hard to do. Lamar Jackson was held below 240 total yards. I think he had like 13 or so on the ground and then about 225 passing. But the Ravens still ended up winning comfortably. They scored the 3 touchdowns there in the fourth quarter to really put that thing away. And look, while I think that there's a chance, Ken, that we're going to have a similar score on Sunday, I think it's going to be the same thing, though, where the Browns going to do what they... And this has been the story all season. They hang around for a half or into the third quarter, maybe early fourth quarter, and then things just kind of fall apart. The wheels fall off the wagon. And that's... If they lose on Sunday, I kind of feel like that's how they're going to lose. It's going to be a tight game for a while. They're through a half or into the third quarter, and then they're just going to run out of steam because they got a quarterback that can't move the offense, and you got a defense there that's just completely out of gas.
All right, Daryl, there's been so much talk of accountability. The coaches have all been questioned about it constantly since that loss. And I did want to be fair. I guess they did cut some special teams player, but then
brought him back yesterday to the practice squad.
Yeah, so overall...
But was that because of a mistake?
I don't know.
I think that was roster management.
Yeah, that's roster management.
So it had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, you said that twice.
Well, no, I'm asking.
Because you wouldn't have brought him back if that was because of a mistake. You wouldn't have brought the guy back. And Cam Thomas is still around too, right? And we had Jim Schwartz talking yesterday about what a great game he played, except for that one mistake, which is Schwartz put it, embarrassing, a cardinal sin, et cetera, et cetera. But I will say this: it was refreshing to hear the coordinators be as candid as they were about the failings, not only against the Jets, but just in general, especially Bubba Ventrone. We know special teams has been a disaster. 3 returns for touchdowns. We've seen missed kicks. We've seen blocked kicks. 6 returns for touchdowns against Bubba Ventrone's special teams since he took over. The Browns have not had a return, I think, since Josh Cribbs. I could be wrong on that. Maybe Travis Benjamin had one. That's right. You're right. Travis Benjamin had one. But since then, nothing, right?
Is that bad?
Yeah, that's not good, Ken.
I'm just making sure.
It's not good. Not optimal. But, yeah. So it was
the players just not good enough on special teams? I know Schlesinger played a bunch, but he was injured last week, so he didn't play on special teams this week. Is it a matter of getting better players on special teams?
Yeah, well, it was interesting to hear Bubba talk about that yesterday, that there is youth there, but as he said, hey, it's my job to get them up to speed. It's my job to make them or put them in the right situations, and I've not done that. So I think it's a combination of both there, Anthony. I think it's a combination. You got some youth on that unit. You've got guys just not paying attention to the details of the game, and when you're a bad football team, details matter. What's interesting is that you look at a team like the Jets, they're a bad team, but they're pretty good on special teams. I remember when the Browns were really, really super bad in the Josh Cribbs era, but the one thing that they were good at under Chris Tabor was they were really good at special teams. Any phase, kicking, returning, gunning and blocking and tackling, like they were always sound on special teams. And you're talking about teams that were devoid of a lot of talent offensively or defensively. So I don't know if I want to go to they just don't have enough good enough players on that unit, because the Browns got some pretty good players on the defensive side of the ball. Okay, I'll give you offense, and maybe not enough good players there. But yeah, this is not a roster that's devoid of talent. So I think, if anything, it's just a complete lack of attention to detail in that phase, and for that, Bubba Ventrone should be accountable.
Daryl, it had been considered one of the more unique setups in all the NFL, Paul DePodesta in his role. Now that he's gone, are they going to change their hierarchy? I mean, that is to have somebody as central as DePodesta in that role, and now he's gone. Yeah. Have the Browns, or have you heard anything about how the team is going to shift responsibilities?
Well, I I don't know that they're going to go out and bring in another chief strategy officer. Also, I didn't realize that when Paul got to the Rocky Mountains, all of a sudden he turned into a comedian. He was either taking a shot at Kevin Stefanski or he was taking a shot at the media about the whole play
I thought
calling
it was the most quintessential Di Podesta thing ever, where none of us really knew exactly what he did, and then none of us know exactly what he meant by that joke.
Yeah, you're 100%
I saw 1,000
right.
different conspiracies.
Yeah,
1,000.
I mean, and that was, I think part of the whole problem. And it goes back to that accountability thing, right? You don't know what the guy even did, paid him a ton of money to not know what he did. And obviously, that was by design, by the way. Us not knowing what Paul Di Podesta actually did for the Cleveland Browns was 100% by design.
Why?
And because that's how they do things out there, Ken. Because it gives them plausible deniability on everything.
Yeah, but that's ridiculous, because if I know exactly what he's responsible for and not responsible for, I might be in a position to, I don't know, defend him.
Right, right, or not criticize people for things that they weren't responsible for.
Let's be honest. I as much as Lima likes to make it out to be, Lima will admit I'm kind of a pushover when it comes to people. And I will tell you that if people have been nice, and I end up being, whether it be media members, whether it be players, owners, whatever, if people end up being nice, I end up being nice back. Yeah. Or a little bit more defensive. It's hard for me to go after a person who's been a kind individual. And I just, and especially anybody who's been open and honest. And I'm like, if you could just be a little bit more open and honest, maybe I might be in a position to go, well, that's not exactly what Paul does. Because there's plenty of people sitting there on the internet. Well, you guys don't know what Paul. You don't know what Paul does.
No one does, right?
At least Daryl walks into the building. I've never seen any of you people in that building over the last decade. Well, you guys don't know what Paul does. Where the hell did you get saying that you don't know what Paul does? You ain't never seen Paul. What are you talking about? Unless you got on a plane ride with him out to San Diego.
I think I can count on one hand the number of times I saw Paul Di Podesta around that building. And 3 of those were on the practice field watching practice, and he probably had no idea what the hell he was watching.
Oh, come on, Daryl. That's a cheap shot.
Hey, I wasn't calling plays for the Browns, just to let you know.
See, that joke went over just like Paul's did.
Exactly.
Was that real laughter from their media, or was that... I know that you were doing that, Daryl, for effect. Was that real laughter, or was that the fake laughter you do?
I think that was the polite. I think that was like the polite golf clap. I think that's what that was, 100%.
Was that real laughter, or was that me with Jeremy Piven?
That might have been you with Jeremy Piven.
Yeah, I thought so. Daryl, thank you so much for the time. We love you.
You bet, guys. Enjoy the game Sunday. Should be a lot of fun. By the way, tickets pretty affordable these days.
Real quick, what does that mean to you, $6 tickets?
Well, as I said on X yesterday, at least they're not taped to telephone poles anymore. I guess that's the perk of not actually printing tickets for fans now. You don't have to drive by the stadium and see them taped to telephone poles and parking meters.
We will always have our giveaway. Daryl, we had a giveaway once. We had a Browns ticket giveaway at a tailgate.
Yep.
Daryl, thank you so much.
You bet, guys. Have a great weekend.
It just reminded me why I'm mad at the mayor. That was one of the best pregame shows we ever did.
We got to talk about that giveaway.
We ever did. All right, that's coming up.
And we're just getting started.
Yeah, what does $6 tickets mean to you? Also, Nathan Zegura joins us at 9 o'clock, and the Patriot Way is back, and I think it could be our blueprint. Let me explain. Explain. It's coming up on The Fan.
Anthony Lima, 4. Man,
official contest rules, and everything you need to know about the Cleveland Browns and the local sports scene. 923thefan.com.
Daryl, thank you so much for the time. We love
You bet, guys. Enjoy the game Sunday. Should be a lot of fun. By the way, tickets pretty affordable these days.
What does that mean to you? $6 tickets.
Well, as I said on X yesterday, at least they're not taped to telephone poles anymore. I guess that's the perk of not actually printing tickets for fans now. You don't have to drive by the stadium and see them taped to telephone poles and parking meters.
We will always have our giveaway. Daryl, we had a giveaway once. We had a Browns ticket giveaway at a tailgate.
Yep.
It was one of the greatest pregame shows. No, I think it was the greatest pregame show I ever had.
Do you remember what the game
the day
was?
That Liz told, the day after Liz told me she was pregnant, and you guys plied me with drinks.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And may or may not have went on air.
For the entirety of the show. What was the game? Do you remember the game specifically? And was it the 0-16 or 1-15?
I saw Gibbs later. I could have set towels on fire with my breath. What?
Was it the 1-15 year or the 0-16 year that we had the giveaway with the foam finger?
Are you sure it was one of those years?
I thought it was 2015.
Oh my God!
I thought it might have been even earlier than that.
Okay.
I thought it might have been even earlier than that. But we were in the parking lot over at Barley, and our stage used to be in the corner. Man, those were fun times. Thanks a lot, Mayor Bibb. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much. You've done us a real solid.
Did we have cigarettes? We had foam fingers.
Well, we weren't smoking the cigarettes, but we started a thing like, hey, this guy, and it happened natural. This guy came up, he's like, hey, I can't go to the game. I got to go back. He was saying something, and he's like, can you guys give away my tickets? We're like, yeah, I'll give away your tickets. And we had the tickets up there, and then
they were dog pound. I remember that.
I think it was January 3rd, 2016 against the Steelers.
16? It was the Steelers game, so you're probably right.
It was the end of the season. I remember that much, and it was a Steelers game.
It was cold.
I just remember the foam finger. We started adding, nobody would take the tickets.
No one
so
took the
we had
tickets.
to juice up the pot. So we started adding various trinkets and whatnot.
There was a foam finger. I think there was like a dog pound chain of some sort. And then we got into loose change. Like people were like, I'll pay you to take the tickets. And then some guy, and there was one guy, he was stark raving drunk. And he came up and he put like two $1 bills there. And then some other people put some bucks there.
So the pot grew.
We ended up with like $16 or something in change. Now, it might have been like $8, but stories grow as time goes on.
Here was the deal. You had to take all of it. You had to put it in your pocket, and you had to drink a beer, and we had a shot.
Well, we had
you had to do all of it.
There were the two tall cans, and then there was the shot, and then there was the Lucy cigarette, and then I think we had two more. And you had if you had to take the tickets and everything. And one guy came up, and he had a few. And he's like, well, I just want the beers. We're like, no, you got to take all of it.
You have to do all of it and walk towards the stadium.
And we're like, we got to see you walk towards the stadium. And I think Mike or someone, he followed him down to like the end of the warehouse district. And then he probably just turned around and went home. Who the hell knows? But he was definitely boozing, and he drank the beers. He crushed the beers in front of us. And then somebody else went and threw up in the waste paper basket.
That was the easiest leg of this parlay.
It was fun. It was fun. God, that was for a bad football team at that time. That was a fun show. And now we don't get to have those anymore.
Yeah, that was taken away from us by the city.
Got them shut down.
This political war.
Got them shut down.
The state of our city is strong, and we're just getting started.
We had 2 Cokes, and we struck a deal.
Thanks a lot. I really appreciate that.
State of our tailgates, not so strong.
Gave away 2 tall boys, and the guy took the tickets. We struck a deal for the tickets. What do $6 tickets mean to you?
It does seem, does it not, like this is the boycott. Like, I know we had a famous ex-player and former Clevelander, apparently.
Yeah, the people calling me about Aqib Talib being from Cleveland. Before all this, I want name 50 celebrities and athletes from Cleveland. You're not going to you're going to find 10 people who will get the 50 people before they mention Aqib Talib.
But this is the boycott, right?
I can't believe Ken didn't know Aqib Talib was from Cleveland. Okay.
This is not an organized boycott yet. Like we've seen over the years, I'll never forget, like the Baltimore Orioles, they staged an entire boycott and a walkout.
And I am a little bitter.
But that would be different. A walkout at the stadium is different from we're not going to the game. Like, because if you're just not going to the game, whatever. The Haslams have seen an empty stadium before, and they've seen a takeover before. But a walkout, that would be next level. Like, that would be a real organization. There was a parade. It was a parade for 16.
I don't even want them to organize that. I feel terrible
we're not organizing that.
I feel terrible about it. It's $6 tickets make me feel awful. And we've been through this before, sad to say. We went through this before in 2016. This is what sucks the most, is that history repeats itself. It's like, man, I don't expect them to be like when they got Baker and all that stuff, and here we are again. Did I think it was always going to be 12-5 or 13-4 every single year? No, not necessarily. But I didn't want it to be going back to 2016 land. Like, that's what I didn't want it to be. And it was a different feeling. I mean, people were mad, but there was like, well, you got Myles Garrett coming out in the draft, or we could talk about quarterbacks coming out in the draft. Nobody likes any of these quarterbacks coming out. I'm going to name names. You guys, you're going to hate all of them for the most part. You take one quarterback playing as if it's a threat that he's going to play. No, we didn't have that in 2016. I mean, it was bad. It was real bad. And here we are going back to this because there were $6 tickets then. And here we are now to this. And it's like, man, I don't like this. I don't like it. They can't like it. It's awful. It's absolutely awful, and I hate it. I hate everything about it. And I know that this can't change this year, but it's got to change as soon as it can. And I think all of our ideas are just ideas, and I don't know if any of them are going to be good. Like, that's the difference. Is years ago, there was like, all right, you just get that one quarterback. Name that one quarterback anymore. The guy who was supposed to be that guy ain't that guy. The other guys who were supposed to be that quarterback aren't those guys. Then if you even go to 2027, it's like, well, Archie Manning. Is Arch Manning going to be that guy? Is Julian Sain even going to be that guy by the time we get to that?
Yeah, there are going to be more holes in everybody's resume, typically, unless you just take it off like crazy.
You've built this team twice, you've torn this team down to the studs. You're not down to the studs yet, but you've started to tear down twice. And the idea to go out and get that great quarterback that's going to solve all your issues. He's going to sell those tickets. He's going to sell that merchandise. He's going to be that guy. And now the game has changed. See, that's the whole thing. Whether, DePodesta mentions it or not, my whole thing about DePodesta was it became over time. One, total lack of accountability. Good, bad, whatever. My second biggest issue my second concern was that people had learned from the Browns or saw what the Browns had done and goes, well, we're going to do this, but we're going to do it a lot better. And you have people who are now football people who were raised in this. That was my thing. It goes back to I don't believe any of the crazy conspiracy theories about it. I'm not trying to make it another DePodesta segment for crying out loud, but let me just say this quickly. Some of the crazy conspiracy theories about there, like about him actually calling plays and approving game plans, I never believed that. But you go back to that interview that we didn't really get to talk about because I was off that day, about Ty Dunn writing that story about Dan Campbell going in and doing the interview in 2019 and kind of turning off the Browns because he wanted to run the ball. I'm like, well, that's an idea. That is theory that is perpetuated from what? An analytical point of view. So now you've been left behind. You're catching up now instead of leading the forefront. That's why maybe new blood, new thinking needs to be infused here. I thought it got very stale. Instead of being at the cutting edge, you were being left behind. And so maybe I'm going to be very, very thankful that he decided to go back to his first love, which was baseball. And he's admitted that. So now I can even say the baseball guy.
I would have liked to get more of the sense of humor more often.
Oh, man, he's total cut up.
He was so at ease, cracking
like George
jokes.
Carlin up there.
He was making them laugh. By the way,
I thought he was Richard Pryor for a moment.
Crazy. He got more Browns questions in 3 minutes of that press conference than he's gotten since when's the last time he actually did a press conference?
2022.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
So the Denver reporters that were there, were able to finally get to him and ask him Browns questions.
I don't know many Rockies fans, but I have to imagine Rockies fans are going, he did what? And they traded for who? And they were what record? Okay. I mean, I know there's the movie out about him, but Lord Almighty, if you're a Rockies fan, you got to look at this at arm's length. Coming up in 20 minutes, Jason McCourty going to join us, CBS Sports. I got 4 people on that broadcast coming up on Sunday. 4 people. He's one of them. We'll hear from Jason McCourty coming up at 9:20. Up next at 9, how on earth do we get Dylan Gabriel going? How's it going to happen against the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday? Ken Carman, Tone Master General, Nathan Zegura in 5 on the Fan.
Anthony Lima, 4.
the Guardians came in third place. Want to catch highlights from the Fan from earlier today? Get over to 923thefan.com or favorite 923 The Fan on the Odyssey app for all today's headline segments. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 923 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Listen to 92.3 The Fan on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn app.
Minutes away, coming in hot. Please keep your comments within the boundaries of good taste. So we'll go to the fan hotline. Welcome in Nathan Zegura. Browns taking on the Ravens tonight, or excuse me, this Sunday evening, 4:25. I call it the evening because it's fall now and it's past the daylight savings time. Nathan joins us on the hotline. Hello, Nathan.
Good morning, Ken. How are you?
Doing wonderful. How do we get Dylan Gabriel going on Sunday?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I thought we saw some good things in that game against the Jets in terms of, getting Jerry Jeudy involved season high in catches and yards, and obviously his first touchdown of the year for Jerry Jeudy. That was good. I really think the key for Dylan Gabriel is going to be more consistency because, he was able to push the ball down the field a little bit in that game against the Jets. That was good to see. Got his wide receivers involved, got his tight ends involved, but there still were throws that, probably should be layups in the NFL. The throwback to Malachi Corley, for example, that's a touchdown. When you get something that's schemed up that well, Tommy Reese calls the perfect play at the perfect time. You have an opportunity to hit that, and really, it's just kind of a 20-yard pass, even though it's sideways with nothing in between them. That's one that has to be connected, O'Con, because that's a big play. That's a game-changing chunk play. And so I think for Dylan Gabriel, it's more consistency. It's being sometimes, and I know this is going to say, how can you do both of these things? At times, I think he's almost too quick in his process, and it causes him to either miss things or to be inaccurate with the football and not see things down the field. And then other times, and he's a rookie, so it makes sense that this would be the case, other times he's a little too slow with his process. For example, on that 4th and 1, he was so set on Jerry Jeudy out of the backfield, but if he sees that, okay, look, that's covered, let me come back to the right side, then you have an easy first down. The Browns' drive continues, and maybe there's a different outcome in that game. So I think it's just kind of finding the balance of, when to be sped up, when to be able to be kind of calm in the pocket and take what's there. And he's got to avoid taking so many sacks. That was a team, the New York Jets, that came into the game with 11 sacks on the season, and he was sacked 6 times. So I think eliminating those negative plays, kind of reading top down when he obviously has those opportunities to get the ball down the field, and then just let the layups be layups. I think that is something that is so important in an offense like this.
Yeah, he got bailed out, too, after that field goal because I didn't think there was a chance they'd get it off. They were able to run the fire drill.
Sack,
right.
Yeah, you can't take one there. But with all that said, Nathan, I saw him finally, confidently take off and run, which I thought would be a bigger dynamic.
Yeah.
And that's something I watched Drake May. He just knows when to do it. And I'm not trying to compare everybody to the MVP,
Leader.
hopeful right now.
Yeah.
But there are guys that just kind of take off and run, and he has seemed reluctant to do that until last week. With that said, can anybody explain, Nathan, the weird balls that come out of his hand that either go right straight to the dirt or airmailing guys by 4 feet? It seems ridiculous. Anybody that watched him in college, I did not see that from him. He had some massive wins in college, one of them over Ohio State, where I didn't see any evidence of that. Where is that coming from?
That's a great question. And I think probably my guess would be on the Jerry Jeudy one. Now, I haven't gotten a chance to speak with him, but I'm guessing the only thing that makes sense to me on the Jerry Jeudy one where he throws in the ground is that he saw something late and kind of just said that if I throw it, it's going to get intercepted, so he threw it in the ground. Now that wasn't the case, but you're right, and that's what I talked about earlier. That consistency. There are the throw to Cedric Tillman on a dig. That's a good 4 yards behind him, and fortunately the Jets DBs, they can't really catch the football. They still have no interceptions on the season, so. I don't know. And that's one of the things, his accuracy was certainly something that was praised throughout the pre-draft process. And so I am surprised that there have been some of those, what you would call kind of big misses for the NFL. The throwback to Corley, that's the one that to me, that's just a 20-yard throw on air. In reality, that's all that is. There was nobody between the two of them. He didn't have to layer it in over anybody, and to miss it the way that he did, Yeah, it's a little bit troubling. Again, Drake May was a third overall pick. We're talking about a guy who's drafted late in the third round. So I think there are different kind of ceilings and different trajectories for the two of them. But yeah, you want to see him kind of be able to hone that in, because if he can and just be more consistent with his ball placement, I do think that there's an opportunity for this offense to be a little bit more productive than we've seen. And that's kind of, the missing piece. We talk special teams ad nauseum. Obviously, that is not acceptable, what's happening on special teams and what happened in that Jets game. But, the one thing that's been kind of consistently below where it needs to be this season has been the offense. And so kind of getting that consistency, letting the layups be layups, I think all those things would be very helpful to kind of getting that on track.
What did you think was the difference between Tommy Rees' style and Kevin Stefanski's play calling style?
So I would have to go in and look at the numbers completely, but kind of in my notes when I watched the game live and then actually when I watched it back on tape, it felt like we were a little bit more spread out. We were a little bit more 11 personnel focused. I like him incorporating Malachi Corley a couple times on that run. I mean, Malachi Corley's been over 10 yards a carry on those runs, so I'd like to see that keep going. It just felt a little bit more spread out, a little bit more wide open is the way that I would describe it. Now, there were times when obviously he condensed it down and things like that, but that's kind of was my initial read on it. It was just a little bit more kind of free-flowing. When I talked to Quinshon Judkins about it, he said, one of the things that Tommy wanted to do was make sure he got the ball to his playmakers in space. The other thing I would say was it was clear that there was an emphasis on getting Jerry Jeudy the football, because we've gone games, in fact, the game prior in New England where he's not even targeted until the fourth quarter. And I thought it was clearly a priority. And they did something that I thought was very smart. It's something that we had seen teams do to us. We saw the Detroit Lions do it. We saw the Minnesota Vikings do it. It's where they take their number one receiver and they're lined up all the way outside. So call that the number, when they count the receivers, 1, 2, 3. He'd be at the one position. And then at the last second, Jeudy would short motion in, getting him into the number 2 spot. So we'd come inside of one more receiver to get in the slot. That gave him a free release. And you saw Jerry Jeudy's route running in that game against the Jets. And that allowed him to take advantage of that and get wide open, get some layups, get the ball in his hands, get some rhythm. I talked to Jerry about that. He said, yeah, that was definitely something that Tommy kind of implemented that had not necessarily been in the offense as much before. And I thought we saw some success with that.
All right, Nathan, so this team, now that DePodesta is gone, do you think that role gets filled, or do you think the hierarchy changes at all, at least in the short term? Like, now that Paul's gone, are people set scrambling, going, what do we do with decision-making, or is the setup still going to be relatively similar?
I think it's going to be, I don't know if they're going to replace him. My guess would be probably not. I have no idea, though. That's kind of all well above my pay grade. I don't think that I think people are making a bigger deal of it than it was. I think this is something that was kind of, the Browns were transitioning to this point anyway, so I don't think anything is changing, for example, in this season, if that makes sense to you. So I don't think that it's going to change now or going forward. It just depends on, what direction they go. If they want to bring somebody else into that role, I have no idea what the ultimate organizational structure plan is from that standpoint, but this is not something that they were unprepared for.
Nathan, the rookies right now, it's something obviously I think a lot of Browns fans are going to be excited to at least follow the rest of the year, even if the wins and losses aren't going to be where we want them to be. How do you kind of evaluate what you've seen from these guys? I thought it was awesome that Schlesinger still played in that game last week. I think a lot of veterans certainly would not have. A lot of players in general would not have, and he was still running around making plays. Judkins, I think it speaks for itself when that guy battles through the contact that he's getting behind the line of scrimmage, and obviously Fannin leads the team in targets and receiving yards.
I mean, this is the Browns are doing something that really hasn't been done in many cases in 50 years in terms of the contributions they're getting from the rookie class. And your leading passer is a rookie. Your leading receiver is a rookie. Your leading runner is a rookie. Your leading tackler is a rookie. So, yeah, this rookie class has been excellent. I'm glad you brought up Carson Schlesinger. Just an incredible guy. I got a chance to talk with Jason Tarver yesterday, the Browns linebacker coach. We had like a 16-minute interview that was on Browns Daily, so people certainly should go seek that out. But and he's an awesome guy. He is so fun to talk to, as Ken knows very well. But yeah, you can't say enough good things about Carson Schlesinger. I mean, this guy was a one-year starter in college. And you think about the defense or the offenses that we've had to go against. Think about the Baltimore Ravens. This will be the second time against the Ravens, right? You think about an Arthur Smith-style offense with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Think about Green Bay with LaFleur. You think about the Detroit Lions and their offensive side. You think about what Kevin O'Connell does. Think about Miami and all of their motions. We've played probably in terms of a gauntlet of offenses that are designed to put linebackers, and especially the opposing Mike linebacker, in a bind. It's those offenses. These are offenses built on deception and eye candy, window dressing, trying to get your eyes in the wrong spot, trying to get your fits in the wrong spot. And Carson Schlesinger has handled it like a veteran. And you talk about Jason Farber's been around guys like Navarro Bowman and Patrick Willis. He's been around some of the best linebackers, and he is blown away by just the mental aptitude of Carson Schlesinger, the toughness, the skill that he possesses to go to the football. And he's been sensational. I think that he should be the defensive rookie of the year this year. I think he certainly is on that kind of a trajectory. And then on the offensive side, Quinshon has been incredible. You want to get some more room for him, because it felt like even in the Jets game, when he got a yard or two, he picked up 9 or 10. If he got a yard or two before he took contact, it was like a 9 or 10 yard run. We've got to do that a little bit more often for him. Fannon's been a gem of a find, absolutely, in the third round. And so, this has been a really good rookie class. You got Dylan Gabriel, who's your leading passer. And, one thing he's done in our 5 games he's in the quarterback, he's only turned the ball over 2 times. That is the tied for the fewest in the NFL. What we need to do as a team is turn all of those things into victories, take advantage of the fact that we are taking care of the football and find a way to win. But, you got to be encouraged by what you've gotten from this rookie class.
Nathan, thank you very much for the time. We'll talk to you again next Friday. All the best to you.
All right, guys. Thank you.
The great Nathan Zegura on the Fan Hotline, getting you ready for Browns-Ravens on Sunday. Got another way to get you ready for Browns-Ravens on Sunday. It's Jason McCourty, one part of the 4-person crew that's on this game for Sunday with the Browns and Ravens on CBS. The former NFLer, where I got to ask, would he already made the switch to Shedeur Sanders? We'll ask Jason McCourty that coming up in 5 on the Fan. Northeast Ohio Fence and Deck. Northeast Ohio Fence and Deck for your home, for your property, for your lifestyle. You want to be able to keep the good things in, keep the bad things out? Boom. It's Northeast Ohio Fence and Deck. No pre-cut sections. No. Top quality custom work for your home, for your property, to make sure that everything is nice and secure. You got a dog, you got small children, you got things that you want to be able to keep in. It's great. And also, good fences make good neighbors. And
for December 2nd. Listen to The Fan Rewind weeknights 11 to midnight. All the best segments from all our shows can also listen on the Odyssey app. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Coming in hot, 9:45. Please keep your comments within the boundaries of good taste, which I posted a picture from the time when Ray Liotta walked over across the street and pistol whipped the guy in Goodfellas. And I always wondered the day after, I said, how does he explain himself? Not Ray Liotta. It was the 70s. It was a different time. 60s. It was a different time. What does the guy do when he's like at dinner? Honey, why is your orbital bone broken? Like, I don't know what he explains himself with. These are the type of things that keep me up at night. Also, whether or not the Browns are going to be able to get Dylan Gabriel going. It's what keeps me up at night. Not Jason McCourty. He sleeps like a baby. And he joins us right now on the Fan Hotline. Hello, Jason. Uh-oh. Jason, are you there?
Oh, yep, I'm here now.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Sorry for the mix-up there. All right, you are part of the four-person crew when it comes to Andrew Catalon, Charles Davis, yourself, and A.J. Ross for Sunday's game against the Ravens. Before I get into backup quarterbacks, let me go with the starting quarterback here, Jason. You've watched the Browns. You've watched the Browns on tape. What can they do to get Dylan Gabriel comfortable and going?
I think we saw this past week against the Jets what their plan is to try to get a little bit more out of Dylan Gabriel. We saw them in a lot of tight formations, a lot of bunch routes, a lot of move the pocket, whether it was a boot or whether him just taking the snap and getting outside of the tackle box. And I can't wonder and give reasons why they feel that way. You can look at his height. You can look at all these different things. It may just be, hey, that's where he's comfortable. He's comfortable throwing the ball on the move. So I think those are some of the things that now with Tommy Rees calling the plays that you're going to see a difference of ways to try to get him going. We also saw him try to get the ball down the field a little bit more. And I think that's advantageous from being a guy that's been on the other side for so many years playing in the league as a DB. I always knew if I'm out there covering Jerry Jeudy or Cedric Tillman, if those guys aren't trying to run by me and the quarterback isn't throwing it, I start to sit on routes. And now I'm starting to, I don't want to say guess, but from film study, hey, I think this is an outright. I think this is a slant. And I'm really starting to try to make an interception and make a play on the football. And I think that coincides with some of the struggles at the offensive line. If you're a DB and you know that we can attack your offensive line and get pressure on the quarterback and they're not going deep, well, now you can really start to sit on those routes and make plays.
All right, well, it was way back September 14th, week 2, and the Ravens won 41-17, and this game got out of hand. A lot of that same stuff they were sitting on, a lot of the short stuff with even Joe Flacco. Is any of that applicable in this game, or do you throw all of that out because that one got ugly in a hurry in the second half?
Yeah, I think you look at personnel. So for a lot of the guys, when you're out there on the field, you remember possibly how Kyle Van Noy rushed you before he went out of the game. But a lot of it you throw out just because the teams are so different at this point in the season than they were at that point. Like you just said, Joe Flacco was the quarterback for most of that game. They were spread out as an offense, and it wasn't a lot of what they did a week ago. There are a lot of players that were in that game that aren't going to be in this game or that now are added to this game. Justin Madubuike for the Ravens, you look at it defensively for them, Kyle Hamilton was playing strictly free safety in that game, and now with them adding Gilman at safety, Kyle Hamilton is around the ball. He's rushing. He's doing a ton of things from that standpoint. So I think the teams are very different at this point in the season. And even for Cleveland, though, you look back at that game, especially on the defensive side of the ball, and that was a close game, and then a block punt, an interception, and they end up scoring off of those turnovers and those plays, and that really flipped that game. But for a lot of it in that first half, like you were looking at a really good ball game between the two.
I was asked yesterday on another show, like, how do you hem in Lamar Jackson? I kind of threw up my hands. I was like, I think sometimes you just get lucky. How do you go about going after Lamar Jackson and stopping him from making your defense look like a bunch of idiots?
I think you switch it up on them, and you've seen a lot of teams do that, some with success and some with absolutely none. And that's what the case is with great players and some of the all-times when you look at our league. I think with Lamar, he's blitzed, so probably one of the quarterbacks that's blitzed the most in the league. And I think a lot of that has to do with, as a defense, they're like, well, we don't want to just sit back there and let him create and do all of these things with his legs. So we want to get after him. And a lot of teams are rushing 3 against him at times and spying with that 4th guy and waiting for him to clear the pocket and then going to get him. The Lions had a lot of success doing that against him. So I think it's mixing things up. And their offense, since Lamar's been back, they're still working out some of the kinks. They haven't been killing people. The Miami game and then this past week against the Vikings, they're kind of slowly rolling over teams, and a lot of it's been how well they played on defense. So I think you got to go out there, you got to stop the run, and then the play action pass. That's where he is at his absolute best. Probably the best quarterback in the league, him and Matthew Stafford, when throwing play action. So those are the things that you got to really focus on stopping when it comes to Lamar.
Well, you almost answered my next question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Without him, things were really, really bad. I mean, they start off 1-5. They are now 4-5. If they're able to make the run, and I know you just said the defense has played a lot better for them here over the last month, but he is a very popular quarterback. He is a quarterback. Can he make a run for the MVP if this team's able to make a run for the playoffs?
I would say yes, and the reason I would say yes is I look at the MVP race right now, and I would say Drake May is at the top of the list, and Matthew Stafford, he won't win it, but Jonathan Taylor should probably be at the very top. I think the fact that the quarterbacks are really bunched up right now, there's so many games left to go, but to me, Lamar would have to go on an absolute tear, and over the last 2 weeks, they've been good, but it hasn't been great. So I think for him to be in that MVP race where he's going out there and he's throwing 3 to 4 touchdown passes, he's running for a few scores every single week. But I think the narrative and the storyline behind him would be really encouraging for why voters would go for him. 1-5, turning around, and if they can get into the playoffs, win their division, which looks very likely right now with how Pittsburgh is playing, I think that's a story that would be fascinating to tell.
I would love someone like you gets a chance to really evaluate the rest of the league, to look at the product right now through this portion of the season. You know, Philly's the defending champs, but their games can be a slog to get through. The Chiefs, they've been interesting because they've been getting healthier, and Mahomes is starting to get his bearings. Obviously, Baltimore has not looked like Baltimore because of their injuries, and Lamar is finally getting back, and they're trying to be cohesive. So the level of play at the top, where is it right now, maybe compared to other years?
What I love about this year is the fact that there seems to be more parity than other years. At this point in the season, you would feel really good about a select few teams, and you'd be like, all right, these are the best 2 teams in the NFC. These are the best 2 teams in the AFC, and you would have that without question. And I feel like right now we don't have that because it feels like every single week it changes to kind of who that team is. We watched Buffalo really kind of take care of Kansas City handedly, and then the very next week, they get their doors blown off by Miami. We watched Pittsburgh look like they were a team to beat, and now the last few weeks has been like, who the hell is this team? So the New England Patriots, who were terrible last year, are at the top of the AFC right now before this Week 11 finishes up. So to your point, it's so hard to tell. In the NFC, I look at Seattle as a team that when it's all said and done, they may be the best team over there. We all lauded Green Bay as a Super Bowl contending team at the beginning of the season, and Jordan Love hasn't taken that step. So it has been different this year than I would say years past, but that's what makes our league so beautiful to watch, because every single week you can be a fan of a franchise that you feel like we're in the contention to have the number 1 pick, and the next thing you know, you upset the best team in your division. And I think that makes it a lot of fun to be a fan of.
You played for the Patriots and you played for the Browns. Can I share something with you here? Can I share a blueprint here?
Please do.
Because I was like, well, the Patriot way is back, and I was like, I want to bring this up with Jason McCourty here. So I'm like, the Patriot way is back, but it's different, and it's a blueprint now because I saw Jacoby Brissett start last year, and I know. But then you have Drake May. Drake May takes off. I go, can't we get a veteran next year? And I don't know who you trade for. I got an idea, but maybe you just hand the reins over to him and that's it. But can we get a veteran next year and draft a guy and then please be patient with that guy, or is that just going to be a wish and we're not going to do it that way?
Oh, and it's so funny because you say even like the Patriot, the blueprint. You think about it, for Drake May, he had to switch coaches right at the end of the season going into his second year. That almost feels more like the blueprint with top draft picks nowadays than anything. Watching Cam Ward, who's going to have to go through it as well. Trevor Lawrence went through it. Caleb Williams went through it. Like, it's insane the amount of quarterbacks we draft high and then fire the coach and then move on. Jackson Dart's another one. He's going to have to go through that now this year. To me, the biggest thing is you got to build around him. And for Drake May and for the New England Patriots, like the Patriot way is done. Like that, what Mike Vrabel is installing now and instilling within those guys is nothing like what Bill Belichick did. Yes, does he hold players accountable? Absolutely. But Vrabel's the type of coach that after the end of the game before this in Tampa, he's taking a picture with Demario Douglas, Pop Douglas's entire family outside the stadium. Like Vrabel is a different type of coach, and the system he's bringing over with really connecting with guys on a personal level while also challenging them is very different than what Belichick did there, and both can have success. So I look at it as the progression of Drake May has a lot to do with what they did in year 2. Not only is Josh McDaniels there as the offensive coordinator, Ashton Grant, who was there with Stefanski in Cleveland, is there as a quarterback coach. He brings a system from what Stefanski does that's different than what McDaniels did. Then Thomas Brown, who was there, was with McVay. So he brings that type of system. So when you build around the quarterback in the offense, Todd Downing being there, Doug Marrone being there, these are all guys that have come from completely different places that have had success in the league. You bottle all of that up in one. It almost looks damn near easy what Drake May is doing out there, how much he's gotten better from above the shoulders and operating that offense.
Jason McCourty joining us here on the show. Why do teams do that? I hate it. I can tell you hate it. I think Lima agrees with me. Like you guys keep these coaches, then you fire them halfway through. Is it to make it a better? Like I'm being serious. Is it to make it a better place or a more attractive place for quality candidates? Like, all right, we know their quarterback's good. Like the other guys in the draft are a crapshoot. Like, why do we do this so much in the league?
A lot of it, you know what I've come and I've discussed a lot this year. I look at Carly Irsay-Gordon with the Indianapolis Colts, Jim Irsay's daughter, who's become the majority owner. She's doing a lot of the day-to-day stuff along with her sisters. And this year has been a focus on what she's been doing for several years now, where she's down on the sideline. She has in an earpiece and she's able to listen to the game day operations that go on between coaches and players and all of that. And you look at it and you're like, what the hell is she doing down there? And I was reading an article and she talked about being in meetings with, you're trying to hire a head coach, you're trying to hire a general manager, and you're asking them questions and they're answering it. And you're like, damn, this guy is sharp. Like he's on his stuff. But in reality, you have no idea whether that's BS or whether it's legit. So I think about what she did from an ownership standpoint of now I'm there. And this started with Frank Reich, where she would have meetings with him. She would have a lot of conversations. So now when you're going to hire the next person and you're hiring Shane Steichen, but even when you're evaluating Shane Steichen on a year-to-year basis and you're having conversations with him, you can kind of get your BS radar out and be able to figure out, is this guy the person that I truly believe can take us to where we want to get to? I feel like so much of it as ownership, you're trying to make these decisions and you just don't know. Like you don't know if this guy's a really good coach. You don't know if he really has the ear of the locker room and he's motivating guys and he's putting them in positions to succeed. So you roll the dice and you hire this guy. Now you're paying him millions of dollars and you're like, well, I think most of the guys like him, so I'm going to run it back, but I'm not sure about him. And then as soon as you don't have success, you're like, you know what, let me get him out of here. So I think more times than not, you got to really do the due diligence and start to figure out who these head coaches and who these general managers are to see, for one, if they work well together, and then two, what they're trying to build. Is the general manager saying the same exact thing as the head coach when it comes to how to get them to the promised land, to the type of quarterback, to the type of player they want in their locker room? Those things have to matter, because I've experienced throughout my time in Cleveland specifically, in Tennessee, when it's not right at the top, it doesn't matter how good the locker room is.
All right, finally for me, Jason, the Shedeur Sanders conversation is huge here right now because of the quarterback play, and obviously he's a celebrity figure. People want to see him really bad, yet the Browns have kind of buried him throughout most of the year. He was fourth on the depth chart. He's already to the backup now, but how much of that will make it into the broadcast coming up on Sunday?
I think it'll probably be a brief conversation. I think when you're on the game call, you want to focus on the game. So I think you want to focus on the players that are out there. But I do think it's a healthy question to ask because of the situation that Cleveland's in. Shedeur Sanders is another draft pick from this year alongside Dylan Gabriel. Dylan Gabriel was drafted before Shedeur Sanders. It makes complete sense that he's been given the opportunity to go out there and lead this offense above Shedeur. I think at some point, if you're the Browns, because of what they have and draft capital going into next year and cap space and all of those things, you probably want to evaluate both of those guys. Now, what the number is of games that you need to see out of both of them, that's very hard to determine. And Stefanski and his crew, they have to decide that. But I would imagine at some point, if the season goes the way it's going and you're not winning games and the offense still trying to find its footing, at some point you let Shedeur get a crack at it. And a lot of that's contingent on what's happening in practice. It's easy for a lot of us to say, like, just throw Shedeur in there. And I got to assume from everything that I've seen on the outside looking in that he is a guy that is showing up and he's putting the work in and he's grinding and all of those small things that it takes to be a quarterback in the NFL. So I got to imagine whether it's the last 5 games, whatever it is, at some point you want to evaluate him as well. Because with both of these guys, are they a franchise quarterback? Are they a quality backup? You may not be searching for the next quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. You may be searching for who's going to be the best backup for the Cleveland Browns, for who they're going to get in the future. But I would think you will want to know something about both of those guys when the season comes to a conclusion.
Jason, thank you very much for the time. Hope you enjoy your time here in Cleveland. Enjoy the game on Sunday.
Appreciate it. Good to talk to you guys.
Jason McCourty, CBS Sports, former Browns cornerback, Super Bowl champion, all the accolades that you could possibly think of on the Fan Hotline. All right, 5 minutes away. You know the rules. Please keep your comments within the boundaries of good taste. 216-474-0092. Coming in hot. Keep those comments within the boundaries of good taste. 216-474-0092. Coming in hot. Coming up next on The Fan. KC Roof.
symptoms or if you need a vaccine. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Call 1-800-526-7736 or visit Tremfya.com.
Legendary Buckeyes beat writer Tim May joins Baskin and Phelps Friday at 1. Cleveland's Sports Radio. 92.3 The Fan.
This is Coach Kevin Stefanski, and it's time for Coming In Hot.
I hope you're happy. Because they saw the QB tiers from 2020.
Yes.
And it's like, you had Watson ranked second. I go, it's tiers.
But who was in your first tier?
He was also really good, though, in 2020. Mahomes.
So you had Watson as the second best quarterback in the NFL.
No, there's tiers. So, like, Rodgers, hold on. Rodgers would have been in 2020. Wouldn't Rodgers have been in Mahomes land? Like, that's what it is. There's tiers. Like, Winston was fifth because that's tier 5. That's not a good tier.
But you're a big NASCAR fan, so why wouldn't Winston be one?
Because it was Jameis Winston. Oh. Not Winston, not R.J. Reynolds, friend. That's how that works. That's back when NASCAR was NASCAR. It's time for Coming In Hot. You've been in a certain mood today. The Evan Mobley stuff.
Time to get whatever you want off your chest. Cleveland, you're coming in hot. The phone lines are open now.
What's with you today?
What do you mean?
You've been just so, like, you've been very, like, you've been very slippery wizard today. Like, look at you smiling too. Oh, God, you're just such a rat.
Having fun doing a radio show, Kenny.
Yeah, that's what you're doing.
What life is all about.
Yeah, whatever. Going after, I don't know what the Baker thing is. Now you're putting up shooting numbers of Evan Mobley.
I got Unicorn. This is why you got to follow me for content at Sportsboy Tony. I have the Unicorn shooting stats. Where does Evan Mobley, where does he stack up? Or down?
Hopefully these calls are better than these takes. Hello, you're coming in hot.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just calling about Dylan Gabriel.
You knew that was happening.
So far, these calls have not been better than these takes.
Boy.
Let's try again.
Hello, you're coming in hot.
Well, I just heard the news today. Dylan Gabriel will start the game. Got Tommy Reese calling the plays. He checks it down for a 1-yard gain. There's guys wide open. Wish you weren't 5'9". Supercomputers lame. I guess we're trying to tank Fernando Mendoza. Fernando Mendoza.
There you go. It is freezing.
It is very cold.
Hello, you're coming in hot.
Suck it up.
Here we go. Seconds left in the game. Browns down by 2. They line up for the 2-point conversion. If they miss this, game is over. Dylan under center. Ball is snapped. He's got Njoku open in the slant. Gabriel hurls it.
Yes! Yes!
Out of bounds, and Ravens win.
Oh, thank you.
Not all the passes are like that. Be fair.
A lot of them are, though. A lot of them are. They, like, there's no, like, arrow to them. They just rise up.
It's like a lob wedge.
It's so...
Like a 60-degree.
Like a helium balloon that's about 4 days old, and it goes up a little bit, but it also sinks.
Like when Lima's like, check out my flop shot. That's what they look like. Hello, you're coming in hot.
Hey, as Woody Hayes said, football's a 100-yard war, and the Browns are the Light Brigade, and Dylan Gabriel is Lord Cardigan.
The Browns are the Light Brigade.
Yeah, Marcus always gets to do his thing. He's quick about it, guys.
The Browns are the Light Brigade. I love it. Shador fans to the left of Tone. Shador fans to the right of Tone. Volley and thunder. Hello, you're coming in hot.
We represent the Gabriel Guild, the Gabriel Guild, the Gabriel Guild. And in the name of the Gabriel Guild, we welcome you to Stefanski land.
They singing that
Guys,
to Tyler?
He's listed at 5'11".
Yeah, why do people keep saying 5'9"?
He's listed at 5'11".
Why have I said 5'9"?
He's listed at 5'11". You're a liar.
Yeah. Stop saying it.
Hello, you're coming in hot.
5'9".
Ken, 1 through 10. Fat, boom, bolat. Look, man, I'm not one to tell you how to run a radio show, but I don't know why you'd get a Hall of Fame celebrity guest on in the last 10 seconds of the show. Because I got news for you, buddy.
What?
If Take 5 isn't the best piece of candy Reese has ever touched his peanut butter and candy to, I am Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I am Captain Roger Murdoch. You need to get your Reese's together, young man.
Roger Murdoch.
Is Take 5 part of the Reese's family?
I thought Take 5 was an oil change.
Take 5s are good.
You get both. You get pretzels and air filters.
They upsell you on 30 filters you didn't know you had. Hey, there's actually one here in the roof. There's one here by the pedal.
They pulled out my glove box the last time I went there.
Oh, they come out of nowhere, left and right.
The cabin air filter's a bitch to get to, and you know it is. It's tough. Hello, you're coming in hot.
With Max Strus and Darius Garland sitting out with injuries, they should have more than enough time to visit a barber shop. If there's a rock show at the Concert Below, you've got long hair at the Madison Square. They got the rock and roll at the Hollywood Bowl. Ooh, yeah.
That was it. Hello, you're coming in hot.
You guys are a bunch of hypocrites.
Okay.
If you allow Owen to have his second team, the Browns, then you have to allow my son Mitch to have his second team, the Guardians. And by the way, to my son Mitch, me and your mom, we miss you very much.
Aww.
We love you. We can't wait to go on the next vacation, and we'll pay for everything just like last time. Okay, bye-bye now.
I think it's the death of comedy.
Big care, man. Checking in.
They love him, man. They love their son.
Kenny Bunkport.
Yay. Love that.
You're heading to Maine.
Hello, you're coming in hot.
I'm Ken Carman with Daisy Dips. I put on my pilgrim. Num, 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 num. The Browns drive me crazy. Eric and Donna are just as bad as Jim and Pam.
Hello, you're coming in hot. Oh, they don't want part of it. Hello, you're coming in hot.
Been a while since the last home game. Is Betsy still the in-game host?
Hey.
I don't think so.
I don't know who you're talking about, and that's enough. Hello, you're coming in hot.
Trump on the broadcast during the Sunday night game was electric. Remember the last time it purged?
I'm not, no. I can tell from your voice, and no. Mm-mm.
I want political figures at every halftime show now. I think it'd be more entertaining, to be honest.
216-474-0092. We could take two more. Hello, you're coming in hot.
Kenny.
Hi.
Hey, it took me a couple weeks, but I finally watched those two movies that you watched for Halloween because I hadn't seen them either. Halloween 2, I think we can all... It was fine, but the first one's better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I thought Nosferatu 2 beat Nosferatu 1 by a mile.
Wow.
Owen called it. Wow.
Now do The Conjuring.
That was a nice little joke. It's better than Paul DiBenesta's jokes. That's a nice little joke. I didn't see The Conjuring.
There's like 20 of them.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of them. I saw the first Paranormal Activity. I was very disappointed in the end.
Yeah.
I was like, you didn't need to have the thing jump into the camera. Big thanks to everybody who joined us today. Daryl Ryder, Nathan Zegura, Jason McCourty. They were fantastic. Go listen to Daryl about the rumor about Kyler Murray. Go listen to Nathan about how you get Dylan Gabriel going, and how would Jason McCourty
get him going out of town for the next quarterback.
Come on.
Sitting here talking sports.
Get the broom out and sweep them out.
We're back Monday, 6 to 10. For Big Country, for Mitch, for the Slippery Wizard, Anthony Lima.
We seen Shador this weekend on Sunday?
I'm sure there will be plenty of camera shots of Shador Sanders while the Browns are getting boat racing.
Will there be a Shador package?
Jordan Love with the Packers.
We're back on Monday. Have a wonderful day. Go Browns. Come on, go Browns.
And what you do is you go to the phone line because you know they're smooth and they know they can rhyme. I know my rap is not the greatest.
Whiskey, beer, tequila, more beer, more vodka, more whiskey, and more beer.
Hey,
sounds good.
Where's your entourage now?
Cool, I got on the last show.
Bye, honey. Have a great day.
It's time for some commercials.
This is Boomer Esiason with an Odyssey Sports Minute. Newly crowned 2025 NASCAR Cup Series champion Kyle Larson told me that, like quarterbacks, drivers protect their strategy by speaking in code. When Larson's crew chief radioed him to go get some money, the word money was their code for 2 new tires in a pit stop. So set your DVRs.